Hi G, this is this part of the video. I'm trying a new lighting setup at the moment and I'm not sure if it's working, but it may work. I think maybe it works like that. I don't know. We'll see, but I'm gonna go with this for now. This is actually going to be the set for Psych, which is going to be really good. I think we're filming it either tonight or tomorrow. It's based on false memories. So definitely check it out when it comes out. It's going to be a good one. Your trip to Japan looked absolutely incredible. I am so jealous. I definitely want to go. So, I mean, when I come visit Singapore, we should definitely just set up a... we should go to Japan as well, is what I'm saying. So we should go Singapore and then Japan. I went for a walk earlier, just out and about in Canterbury, and I shot a little bit on my phone just because, you know, I think I like that thing about your video. I like that you had shots of you whilst you were out. I was doing some Pokemon catching. I'm not going to upload a photo of my current Pokemon because they're not that different from before because I haven't had the time to go out really. But yeah, here's that segment here. Hi Gasham. I'm just on one of my favourite walks in Canterbury actually. It's down past Westgate Towers. You keep going through the park and just keep going and then you end up in these fields. Like this one behind me. I don't really know why I like this walk in particular. I think it's just the quietness. It's literally like one of the most quiet places I've ever been to. There's no one about except for the sounds of like small animals scurrying around, some runners, some families, but you know, other than that, there's no one out here really, and it's just so pleasant. And there's like loads to take photos of, loads of flowers, loads of insects. There's just natural kind of like landscapes to take photos of, which are really nice. So yeah, you know, you showed me Japan and it looked absolutely stunning and stuff. So I thought I'd show you kind of like my little place, I guess. I think whilst I'm on this walk, I'm just going to take the opportunity to talk about one of the points you raised in your response, which was about going to places like Hiroshima or Nagasaki or Ground Zero in New York, or you know, places where Auschwitz, places where severe tragedy, lots of people have died and severe tragedy happened. I haven't had kind of the opportunity to go to anywhere like that. I've been to a museum in Berlin, which was a memorial to the murdered Jews of Europe, which was quite heart-wrenching. It's quite difficult to go through it and not feel some emotion, at least a little bit, but I felt, you know, a reasonable amount. It's quite humbling, as you said, and I think it's important to go to places like that. It's important not to ignore them, because all of this, these people, this land, this liberty, tranquility, all of this is so fragile, and it's only when tragedy strikes or tragedy occurs that we realise how fragile it is. And I think you only really get that kind of experience, or that kind of like true experience or true mentality, from visiting places like where extreme tragedies have happened, because, you know, it's like that saying, you know, one man's death is a tragedy, thousands is a statistic, and it is true, unfortunately. And we are very, very fortunate to be living in a time where we personally, not necessarily, you know, everyone in the world, but we personally don't have to experience that kind of a tragedy. We're very privileged in that sense. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents on that part of your response. So yeah. The Illuminati. Okay, so this is quite an interesting question. I'm glad you asked it actually, because I think I have reasonably strong opinions on the Illuminati actually, and other conspiracy theories such as geocentrism. Well, I guess I'm not sure if that's a conspiracy. No, it's a conspiracy theory because they're saying that everyone's lying. So geocentrism, the thing called the Mandela effect, which people are saying governments are covering up at the moment because of CERN. Things like flat earthers and stuff like that. All of this, I think, and the Illuminati, I think, is actually quite damaging, and I'll explain why now. I think the idea that there's this small group of people. I mean, there are a small group of people that control the wealth and have a lot of money and have a lot of power, therefore. But I don't think that they're in cohort with each other, and I don't think they're designing. I don't think they're designing kind of like, you know, tragedies or creating things happening so that certain things go down a certain route. You know, like there's some people think the Illuminati are causing like weird weather and stuff like this. You know, like just basically stuff that you can go, no, a hurricane is caused by geography. It's not caused by. It's caused by weather systems, you know, and it's not. There's no way that an organisation of even the richest people can orchestrate that. The fact that they're orchestrating every kind of tragedy in the world just doesn't make sense to me. And I think the world is a lot more simple than that. I think the world is, you know, I don't think people would work together that much. I don't think China would work with USA in terms of like having another power above it to orchestrate certain events to happen economically in the world. There's certainly levels of that, you know. The USA, I believe the USA invaded Iraq and Afghanistan for economical purposes. I don't think that they were worried about weapons of mass destruction, but this is where the damaging part comes in. If you have a conspiracy theory that is so ridiculous that no one else will believe it because there's no evidence to support it. When a conspiracy theory comes along, or a conspiracy comes along that's actually true, like the Watergate scandal, or like 9/11 to a certain degree, or the war in Afghanistan, there's no way that the average person would believe it because they're grouped in with the other conspiracy theorists, the flat Earth, the Illuminati, all of that, and it means that the people who caused that conspiracy in the first place, the actual damaging conspiracy, like the Afghanistan war or the Iraq war, don't get held accountable for it because everyone believes that, oh no, it can't be true. There can't actually be a conspiracy behind this because the conspiracy theorists who are saying that, you know, there's a new Paul McCartney are saying it and therefore it can't be true. Which is ridiculous, you know, like, because people do hide things, governments hide things, but they're just not hiding the fact that the Earth is round. Like, the Earth is round. That's not one of their lies. That wouldn't make sense. There's no tangible reason for that. But if they're hiding the fact that they went to Afghanistan for the money, you know, there's a reason to hide that because it's not moral. There's a moral ambiguity there that some of the Democratic electorate wouldn't be fine with. Even George Bush's election, you know, there's some really dodgy things there, but you know, you can't say anything about it because you'd be labelled one of these conspiracy nuts or something like that. And I think, you know, so I'd put the Illuminati in with that group. I think that, you know, there's no one tiny organisation that's orchestrating all of the world events, and I think that the media plays on it. I think pop stars and film directors and stuff play on it because if you put Illuminati imagery like that, like what you did there, like, you know, you see stars doing that, you see Jay-Z doing that, or things like this, you get a lot of like interest from different parties because they're now saying you're in with the Illuminati. There's like conspiracy theories about people's deaths, all of this stuff, and it builds on to the publicity of the thing, you know. so they actually build publicity through using the Illuminati imagery. And I even put a tweet out: if I become a big director, I'd use the Illuminati just to mess with people, so that they actually I'd use Illuminati imagery just to mess with people, so that when they watched it, they'd be like, "Ooh, Illuminati." I was even playing with the idea of doing it for my magic, using like that kind of symbol, or like trying to make a triangle there or something. Doing stuff like that. You can do it countless ways. The magic society, the magic circle, sorry, is a really secretive society, but it's not secretive in a way of like having certain levels and having ceremonies and stuff like that. It's secretive in a way of like they don't want anyone else to know their trade. That is their trade. If you do a trick or you do an effect, you don't want people to know how it's done, because it's supposed to appear as if it's magical. That's the idea. So it makes sense for the magic circle to be secretive, and I think that has led to a lot of rumours in the mainstream about what magic societies and what the magic circle does, and linking it with people like the Freemasons and the original Illuminati, which was a real group, and secret organisations like that, when actually it's a different kettle of fish. So yeah, with regards to Pokemon Go, like I've heard this rumour that Pokemon Go is designed to track us all, because it has GPS in it, and we're all being tracked with it. That doesn't make sense to me at all, because your phone has GPS in it. If you were to phone 122 or 112, whichever is the emergency telephone number for Europe, that tracks you. It's the only emergency telephone number in the UK that actually tracks your location using triangulation and GPS, which is fantastic, because sometimes you don't know where you are when you need the emergency services. But it just shows you that you don't need an app to access that. It's just there. It's just present on your phone. As long as all the settings are on, like it's not an airplane mode or anything, they're accessible from the outside. So I think if they are tracking us, they're tracking us without using a silly app like Pokemon Go. I haven't actually seen Now You See Me 2 yet. I didn't get to see it in cinema because I was working. I've been very busy recently, which is why I haven't been able to collect more Pokemon, unfortunately. So I still need to see it. How is it? Let me know, because I do want to see it. I don't think it's in cinemas anymore either, which sucks, but let me know if it's worth watching, because I did enjoy the first one. The only problem I had with it was that there wasn't enough actual magic in it. Like, they use CGI and camera tricks rather than using actual effects, and I thought that if you're going to do a magic film, films like The Illusionist and The Prestige kind of got away with it more so for me, because they're about kind of like more fantasy based things rather than like really massive effects, whereas this one was more about the magicians, and they actually did magic shows. I don't know, I just felt like it could have been more actual effects, like the one that Jesse Eisenberg done. With regards to you learning magic, keep it up, because you do just improve with practice. Like, it's literally it's a muscle memory. You do a movement, and eventually it just becomes natural to you, and it does become easy to do tricks. Like some of the tricks that I showed you, they're easy now to do, but it's through practice. Just practice. So keep up. We will Skype, and I'll teach you some effects, and I'll try and maybe I'll send you a book or something with some good effects in, because I've got a few that I don't use because I know most of the effects in them anyway. So there's nothing new in them. So I might send you one. What resources are you using at the moment? Because that will help me gauge what kind of things to send you or what not to send you. And also, what kind of things are you interested in? I got a lot of access to lots of different materials. So if you need anything, just let me know and I'll try and find it for you. A good book to start with that I don't actually have is a book called Expert at the Card Table, and it's one of the originals. It goes through all the basics, it goes through some quite complicated tricks as well, which are really good. I need to get my hands on a copy anyway, but I'd recommend getting it for yourself if you're interested in card magic, which it seems like you're going down that route. So I think that's all from me. I think that's the closest you're going to get to a kind of like short update. I hope I explained the Illuminati stuff well. I'd be interested to know your opinion, so definitely tell me yours. I don't actually have a question for you right now, but if I think of anything, I'll message you and you can just answer it in the video, I think. Because this has been quite a good turnaround for this video, because I think it'll be good to get them out quite frequently, because it's more of a conversation now, I guess, So I hope you're having a great time in Singapore. I'd be interested to know I'd be interested to have like a look around the kind of area you live in. So if you could film yourself going around the area you live in and like show me things, that would be really great actually. And obviously, like send my love to Verity and the rest of your family. And I'll see you soon, hopefully. Bye.